Hello, this is Wiley from Learn to Barbecue. This week we will continue our Umami Barbecue series by doing baby back ribs. We are going to make an enhanced rub and a barbecue sauce from scratch. Another first is we're going to cook these ribs by temperature and not time. So no 3-2-1 or 2-1-1 ribs. We will cook these ribs the same way I would cook a pork shoulder or brisket. Now a little umami trivia. Chinese and Japanese food is full of umami. Soy sauce, fish sauce, teriyaki sauce, and ponzu sauce have huge amounts of glutamates. Now the trivia. In 2019, Huntington Post stated from industry data that there are over 41,000 Chinese restaurants in the US. That is more restaurants than all the McDonald's, KFC's, and Burger King's combined. On a trip to visit our grandkids in Texas, we joked that every small town had a Chinese buffet. Next time when you eat Chinese, look at what you're going to order and then look up the number of glutamates. We are all glutamate junkies. Now back to the cook. We are going to cook 3 racks of baby back ribs. One will be plain barbecue sauce, and the other 2 will be the enhanced umami barbecue sauce. That will be the only difference between these ribs. First thing we need to do is remove the membranes. Find the dullest butter knife in the kitchen. Now start from the narrow end of the ribs. It is easier on the narrow end to get hold of the membrane. This is the hardest part in finding the membrane without messing up the meat on top of the bones. You will also find you get easy ones and then you get hard ones, but the membrane has to go. When you finally get the end of the membrane, you need to go get a paper towel. Now get a good grip on the membrane and slowly start pulling. And if you're lucky like I am, it will come off in one piece. With all 3 membranes removed, it is time to add the rub. Because adding rub is messy, and I am lazy, I always use a foil pan to add rub. The rub we are using is good old Montreal steak seasoning. It is really salt, pepper, and garlic, or SPG, with a little onion and paprika thrown in. It also has no sugar in it, and that was important for this test. Sugar can mask the umami and overload your tongue. We are doing our best to make sure we only focus in on umami, or the savory taste. Also, I'm using no binders except water. Again, trying to minimize flavors so we can have a clean comparison. With the membrane gone, we can fully season the ribs on both sides. So we can monitor the temperature, I am using ThermoWorks Pro Series waterproof needle probes, and we're using them in conjunction with the ThermoWorks Signals thermometer. These probes are needle size, so they can get into the meat between the ribs without touching the bone. I started the cook with 2 probes, but one of the probes started acting up, so I had to go with just 1 probe. Now it's off to the Camp Chef Woodwind that has been preheated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I also set the smoke control to 7, so even at this higher temperature we're still going to smoke the ribs. The Woodwind is the only smoker that I know that can cook high temperatures and still produce good smoke. The grill could easily handle 4 racks of ribs. If I had added the upper grate, I could have doubled that to 8 ribs. Here I plug the probes into the signals thermometer that is attached to the grill by the very powerful magnet that's on the back of the thermometer. Here's the signals thermometer showing the current temperature of the ribs, and also the target temperature is 160 degrees Fahrenheit, just like I would do if I was cooking a pork shoulder or brisket. After the ribs hit 160 degrees Fahrenheit, we will then sauce them and foil them until they hit 195 degrees Fahrenheit. At that time, we will unfoil them and let them sit in the grill for another 30 minutes so the barbecue sauce can turn into a glaze. Now, while the ribs are cooking, we can make the barbecue sauce. First ingredient is ketchup, brown sugar, next that never easy to say Worcestershire sauce, then balsamic vinegar. The next ingredient, you can use any hot sauce. I'm using chipotle sauce. Next is garlic powder. Please do not use garlic salt. Next is ground mustard. And the last one is the reason why you do not use garlic salt, for it is salt. This is going to be our base barbecue sauce that does not have any of the umami ingredients. So let's make the sauce. Get a medium-sized mixing bowl. We start off with 1 cup of ketchup, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Note I'm using a 2 tablespoon measuring spoon, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of chipotle sauce, 1/2 a teaspoon of ground mustard, and last 1/2 a teaspoon of sea salt. Now thoroughly mix everything together. After mixing, you should let it sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Now the taste test. Just enough heat and sweet. 1 big thumbs up. Now with the base sauce done, we will now move on to the umami enhancements. We remove about 1/3 of the sauce, or enough to do 1 rack of ribs. We put that sauce off to the side. Now on to the umami enhancements. Chipotle peppers in an adobo sauce is like umami on steroids. You first start with red ripe chili peppers that are then smoked with mesquite wood. You then marinate them in an adobo sauce that is a highly reduced tomato sauce that also has vinegar. The glutamate count has to be well into the thousands. Our next enhancer is fish sauce. First, fish sauce is not fishy, and it is 80% anchovy and 20% salt, and that's it. The last enhancer is tamari sauce. Tamari sauce is soy sauce, but has no wheat, making it gluten-free. I also think it tastes better than soy sauce. I actually use it just about on everything. You really have to mix this, for the chipotle with adobo sauce is pretty thick. It also has a very nice dark red color. This sauce is not wimpy in any way. Now as the ribs hit 160 degrees, it is time to apply the sauce. We are going to apply the enhanced sauce on the lower rib racks. The sauce is thick, but it spreads real easy. Because the ribs were still very warm, the sauce started to set up right away. They're not even done, and these ribs look fantastic. Now we take the third rack and place it on top and add the basic barbecue sauce, the totally non-enhanced version. Please note, I did wash all the enhanced barbecue sauce off the silicone brush. I wanted to make sure there was no contamination between the two sauces. This sauce was definitely thinner than the enhanced sauce, but it did a pretty good job of covering the rack. So we do not get mixed up with racks. I stuck a toothpick into the non-enhanced rib rack. So that I would not put a hole in the foil, I moved the toothpick to the side. I then foiled the top of the pan and did my best to make it airtight. Now it's off to the grill. I then had to reinsert the needle probe so we could monitor the rest of the cook. We also have to get it as airtight as possible. Now we hang out on the deck and wait till the internal temperature hits 195 degrees. Also, the Camp Chef Woodwind is a good-looking grill. It also works really well with the ThermoWorks Signals thermometer. We hit 195 degrees, and now it's time to remove the top foil and let the sauce harden into a glaze. 30 minutes later, we were ready to serve these ribs. As far as appearance, they look great. Perfect color and glaze. I started with a non-enhanced rack. Here you can see the toothpick. They cut real easy, and as you can see, a very, very clean cut. Let's take a closer look. Nice smoke ring, and the meat looks perfectly cooked. Now let's move on to an enhanced rack of ribs. Again, a good-looking rib, nice smoke ring, and perfectly cooked meat. Now it's my favorite part of the video. It's time to eat. My first rib was from the non-enhanced rack. This is where I was out of the camera, but these non-enhanced ribs were really good, perfect tug, and the sauce tasted really good. 1 out of the camera, thumbs up. Now it was time to try the enhanced rib. This rib was out of this world. The savory taste was so much more intense. The comparison is eating a good hamburger and then eating a perfectly cooked ribeye. They're both good, but the ribeye is over the top. Here you can see these ribs also had the perfect tug. And I could not stop eating. These ribs earned 2 thumbs up and a hand jive. Bon appetit! If you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Also, we really appreciate your watching.